What up, folks? Welcome back to the source code. I want to make this is actually going to be a two-part video. I have two clips that I want to show you from my sliders. I know they're not out, but trust me, once I finish the defensive line pass rush, if you like Madden at all, you're not going to want to go back. After you use these sliders, you're not going to want to go back and use any default settings whatsoever. I'm pretty confident that that is not going to happen. After you get a sense of how the foot planting affects everything in this game, you're not going to go back to any of those default settings. So again, I just have to finish the defensive pass rush. But in this video, I want you to look at the wide receiver and the defensive back interactions. Your wide receiver, excuse me, what you have to focus on, it's kind of hard to do this video because I'm just testing out the sliders. But what you want to focus on is what isn't happening between the defensive back and the wide receiver. Usually what happens is if you throw a long pass, the wide receiver is going to slide into position to make the catch, or the defensive back is going to slide into position to make the interception. In most cases than not, the two players will somehow be warped together, and you will usually see the defensive back, he'll knock the pass down, or the wide receiver may make a fake one-handed catch. But what will happen is once they get close together and the ball gets as it gets near to them, they will start to get sucked into this one animation. And again, it's usually the defensive back will just knock the ball up or something, or the wide receiver make a one-handed catch. But in this clip, you have to see that they're separated. You got to separate their animations to where they don't blend together, and you can only do that with the foot planting. The defensive back did not jump on his back. They didn't warp together to make that one ridiculous animation that you always tend to see, because the foot planting is more legit. In this clip, again, this is how you want your wide receivers to make catches. You're going to see, I think it's 4 animations, but it's going to look like one long animation when he catches this touchdown. You don't see the transitions, which makes the game completely terrible. That's where you get the players sliding. That's where you get the foot, where you get the feet double tapping, or when the plant foot should come down, it doesn't come down. He'll skip a step. That's because the AI system is compensating to, slide the wide receiver into position to make a catch, or hold them back because you got the difficulty setting up too high. But what you want to do, and I'm going to make several videos on how to make sliders and how I make my sliders and how you can make your own slider set better than mine. What you want to do is you want it to look seamless. Like, you can see how you can't see the transitions, or there's no hint of animation transition in this play. There is a transition from when he takes off the offensive line to when he jams, or the defensive back jams the wide receiver, and then he'll transition into his running animation, and then he'll have to transition into a catch animation, and then he'll have to transition back into his running animation to run into the end zone. But if you don't adjust the sliders, you will always you can always see an indication of when those animations transition, because your player will skip a step, or he'll slide, or two players will warp together. It would just seem so unrealistic that player position doesn't even matter, and you will be able to notice that. You do not want that in your gameplay, period. Once you get the foot planting set, acceleration and deceleration, these things matter. They're going to matter so much more than on the default settings. Again, I'm going to make several videos on what to look for when you're making a slider set, how each slider affects each other and other areas. Excuse me, you have to forgive me, I'm getting a bit tired, but I'm gonna make several videos on that and how, again, how you can make your own much better than mine. So my sliders, I promise they'll be out by this weekend. Again, I'm not just gonna throw out numbers just to, you know, meet a deadline or just to be the first to get everybody to use my sliders. I want them to be as accurate as I can get them. Again, it's Madden, it's not going to be perfect, but again, you want maximum effort. It's going to be on All-Madden, and but you want the gameplay to be legit. Again, if you put it up to All-Madden, well, what does the AI do? Well, we all know that the AI system is going to slow your players down, and they're going to speed their players up by sliding and things like that, you know, AI manipulation. And if you go down too far to like rookie, what's going to happen is the AI system is going to speed your players up, and they're going to, you know, your bench players or your fourth wide receiver and fifth wide receiver, they're going to look like Pro Bowl wide receivers because the skill level is down too far. So how do you get maximum effort on the All-Madden level with solid gameplay without the sliding? And that's where the sliders come into effect. If you do not adjust the sliders in this game, you expect a lot of, you know, mayhem when it comes to how outcomes are played out. You need to expect all of that stuff, because it's not going to be calibrated to where the foot planting is correct and the gameplay is legit, because all the developers are worried about is skill levels. You know, they have to anticipate, okay, is this going to be good for a kid? You know, or, you know, is the rookie level going to be good for kids? Is the All-Madden level going to be good for skill players who can, you know, determine and figure out how to read defenses and things like that. So you're going to have to, if you want legit gameplay, or as legit as Madden will provide, you're going to have to use the sliders. So I'll make those videos pretty soon, and I'll have my sliders out ASAP.